What's up everybody, and welcome to today's video of Kingdom Rivals. I'm Mariah Forge, and let's go ahead and get started. In today's video, we are going to be working on this area that you can kind of see down here. So since the last video, I've gotten a lot more horses for us to use in kind of this outer courtyard area and around the castle. So what we're going to be working on today is making the rest of these pens kind of similar to the sheep pen that we have here. Just making it a little bit more finished, given some shade structures, some coverings, some hay bales, some water troughs, and all the little details that just kind of help bring everything to life. So basically what we're going to be working with is most of what I have already in my inventory. So we're going to be working with some of our spruce fences and walls and stuff, and our crimson slabs, and our spruce trapdoors, and some hay bales, and that's about it for this project. We may throw in some lanterns and some other light sources, depending on how much time we have for today's episode. So, first things first, I want to set up a little working area. So here in my ender chest, you see a lot of shulker boxes, and all of them are different colors, and all of them have different names. So they're all pretty much kind of color-coded, which is why there's so many different colors, except for these 3 light blue ones. So what these guys are is some of the most important stuff that's in here, which is a bunch of extra tools and armor that I can use, but this one, which is probably my favorite, which is my mobile equipment. So if I were to go out on an adventure and start up a whole new base, this would give me a really great start and a really easy way to use and store and build in an area that is very, very far away from the castle. Now that hasn't really come up much so far in this world, but previously I had a trip in another one of my worlds out to an area, I think, to collect coral that was about, gosh, I want to say 3,000 blocks away, and we didn't have elytra yet at that point. And so traveling thousands and thousands of blocks was definitely a much bigger deal for that world than it was in this one, because I couldn't just get a whole bunch of rockets and fly. And so what ended up happening was I got all the way out there, and like I said, I think it was to mine some coral or something, but I got there and I realized that I didn't have what I needed in order to actually do what I set out there to do. And so what ended up happening was I went on this whole big thing of, basically I found a cave, there was some iron, I had a tree so I could make a wooden pickaxe and a crafting table, and I could go and get some cobblestone and get some iron and make a furnace, get some coal, and it was just ridiculous. And so since that encounter, I really beefed up what is in my ender chest so that that incident wouldn't be repeated, because it just really took a whole lot of extra time, so much more than it needed to at the beginning, and so much more than I had expected it to take. And so it was just really a funny story now, but in the moment it was so incredibly frustrating. And so if you can really set yourself up with a good stock of supplies in your ender chest, and then all you really need when you go out on an adventure is just an ender chest, because that'll basically have everything that you want. In fact, one of the things that I've even considered doing is getting some blueprints, or just building a little house and taking it all apart and putting that in a shulker box so that I can have that just ready to go if I need to set up a little base camp somewhere. I don't have to just kind of set up like I have here with everything just out in the open and exposed, but I'm not too worried about that currently because I am still at my castle. It's just a bit of a hassle to go all the way inside once night comes, because it is a castle, so it's supposed to be somewhat hard to get into, So the only way that I could get into is the big gate that's all the way around there. Or I could fly, but that uses up rockets. That I don't really want to expend just to get to my bedroom right there. So much easier to just have an extra bed that I can take with me to different places. Plus it has the crafting table and all the other things that I would need, because you might find yourself as you're playing Minecraft with a ton of extra crafting tables. I know that I tend to find myself with a lot of extra crafting tables. Like you saw in that shulker box, I think I had about 5 in there, and that isn't so much wanting to have the stock in my ender chest, because I don't really think there's much need for that many crafting tables, but I think it was just more of, I made one for a project and then I didn't really need it anymore and I didn't really need to store it, so I'm like, hey, I'll just chuck it in my mobile equipment and just have some extra ones, though I haven't really used more than one at a time thus far. Alrighty, so real quick, we just kind of threw up this little shade structure. I think in this pen here, I'm going to put the cows that are actually currently at the back of the castle, but I want to get all that stuff kind of out of the inner courtyard, so it can all be kind of focused in this one area. So just a quick little shade structure, just a real quick and easy roof style of just slanting it up and then kind of flattening it out towards the top. It is super, super fast to do, as you saw. That only took a few minutes. And then for the water troughs, I really like to use the spruce trapdoors because those to me seem most like kind of an old-timey or medieval basin that you would see, or like a barrel that you could make with them. And one of the things I always do in the water troughs, and especially out here, or if you're building in an area that is snowy, these shouldn't do it because they're underneath a roof, but if you have water source blocks that are just open to the sky in a frozen tundra or an ice spikes or any of the cold biomes in Minecraft, they will just freeze. And so then you'll really kind of lose a lot of your effects. Or if you have something that needs to have running water, like a sorting system or something like that, some sort of path for items to be flowing through, like an item transport system, making it so that it is a waterlogged block and not just an open source of water really helps out. Plus, I think just visually it adds a little bit more of a finished touch as opposed to just seeing grass underneath this. It doesn't just look like a ring of spruce trapdoors, but more like a actual kind of piece of furniture or tool or something that we just moved in here and kind of set here, instead of just using Minecraft physics to keep the water inside. It's a little bit more realistic. Now we do what every Minecrafter's favorite thing is we wait for it to actually be time for nighttime. I'm gonna refill my water buckets. And if you're wondering why I have 2 water buckets in my mobile equipment shulker box, it's because if you have just 2 water buckets, then you can always make an infinite source of water if you use them wisely. And so it's really, really handy because it doesn't take up a lot of space inside, just takes up 2 inventory slots. But you can have water anywhere. So if you use it wisely and you're kind of smart about what you're doing, then you'll always have an infinite source of water with you wherever you go. Assuming you've brought your ender chest. If you haven't brought your ender chest, then there's not much that you can do. And there's definitely been some trips where I've gone and I've forgotten my ender chest. And so it's like, well, all the planning, and you're kind of just out of luck. For this part, just kind of like to pile up randomly. You can kind of see I did sort of a same amount as with the sheep. And so with this is basically this pen complete. So in a little bit, I'll probably move the cows over from where they are currently, and we can get them all settled in here. But for now, I think we're just going to keep chugging along and just work on the horses. and I'll clean this up. So as I'm working and as I'm doing this, one of the things that I want to share with you guys is a little bit of expectations or idea of what exactly this SMP is. And for those of you that don't know what an SMP is, it just stands for Survival Multiplayer. So there's, I think, about 5 of us on this realm, and we decided a little bit before the summertime that we were going to do a SMP with this realm. We've been playing on it for a really, really long time, as you can probably tell by how big the castle is. This was all done completely in survival, so all of the resources and all the tools and everything had to be gathered and used. So it took a really, really long time, a lot of hours grinding away at just getting a whole bunch of stone. A really big community effort too, of people have extra supplies that they're not really using, and so we really share a lot with each other of what we have. But our idea with this is we had a couple of us that play on here that started about a year ago, I want to say, on this world. And then only a few months ago, we added a couple more guys to the world. And so we have, with all of us, our bases in very different states of completion. And so what we decided to do is we could actually make a story out of it. And so our SMP was kind of born with this idea. So the name Kingdom Rivals is no coincidence. One of the things that you'll be seeing in the future on this channel in particular is I'll probably be doing some live streams with everybody. And basically, we have a really, really lore-based story that we've set up. Oh, horsey, you're not supposed to be up there. Okay. Horses can climb scaffolding, in case anyone is wondering. But basically, everybody that participates in this world is essentially the ruler of a different kingdom. So for me, this castle is obviously my kingdom, and it's named Dragon's Keep. And so anytime you're watching one of our other guys' videos, which I'll put links to them in the description box below, and I'll put links to their channels, I highly recommend that you subscribe to them and check them out. They make other Minecraft videos, not necessarily just on this world, but some Skyblock stuff and other things. And so for us, basically, we are going to be creating a story as we go along. So the idea behind Dragon's Keep, or my kingdom, is it was one of the first kingdoms, because I was part of the original group that played on this world. And so we have a couple other kingdoms, or one other kingdom rather, that is part of the old kingdoms. And that is called the Kingdom of Night. And where that is located is actually somewhat near where the spawn of the world is, but lore-wise, instead of kind of venturing out, the ruler of the Kingdom of Night decided to dig down. And so basically he kind of buried everybody underground and built a lot of tunnels and mazes and traps and things so that his kingdom could kind of be secluded and hidden away and protected from the things in the surface. And so for us, as part of the Old Kingdom, we really have a lot of established things and established order, and we've worked together a lot to make quite a lot of new, or not really new things, but quite a lot of communal things for those that come along and are playing in the world, can really kind of easily get on their feet and easily get started up in the world. But a couple of our new guys kind of had a bit more rebellious attitudes, and so that's some of the things that are going to be really showcased in our lore. And so for me, I'll probably be doing a lot of our lore stuff in live streams and not so much in just the individual episodes. Because if we check, yeah, I'm currently the only one online. And so far, all the times that I've recorded, I've been the only one online. So for the live streams, they're going to be at times when we know everybody is available to record and everybody's going to be online all at once, and we'll do a lot of storyline stuff. I do not want to make all of those. Getting carried away. Alrighty. There we go. And so be expecting to see a lot of that in the next couple weeks. We'll probably have our first live stream or so with all the guys and everything. So it should be a ton of fun. I'm really excited. One of the things to remember throughout all of this is, yes, it is very centered around the idea that we are having sort of a war with each other, but everybody's friends, everybody agreed to this. This isn't taking anyone in this world by surprise, and we are going into this with basically a set of ground rules. How did you do that, horsey? Oh, was it this one? Yeah. And so it's not really that big of a deal that anybody is maybe seemingly attacking or calling out someone. All my horses are escaping. Oh no. We are going to get rid of this water source once and for all. I'm just talking and everything is just kind of getting out of hand. Alrighty. But we have leads so we can get them all back in here. But yeah, so it should be a ton of fun. I'm really excited for a lot of the things that are coming up in the world. I'm excited to see our stuff grow and see the space grow and reach its completion. But to also just see a lot of the newer areas and newer kingdoms and stuff that haven't been established for very long, really growing and into their completion and everything. So it'll be a ton of fun. Highly, highly encourage you to stick around to watch the content, ask questions. If there's anything that's confusing or that you want to know more about, by all means, post a comment and ask about it. If it is something that we have planned for a story, maybe I won't directly answer it in the comments, but it'll probably be answered at some point. So I'm going to check to see. I don't know if these horses are going to get over there. One of the things that I haven't done so far in this area is put the water trough in an area where it's tall enough for them to stand on. And so this is really kind of testing it out in this horse's pen. But one of the things that I was considering was making stalls for the horses to go in. But I'm thinking now, because they're escaping, I think we'll go ahead and put it underneath the overhang so that we can stop our horses from escaping, because I don't want them going into all of the other pens and everything. But this is part of the process of Minecraft. You try something out, it doesn't work, or you don't like it, and then you try something different. So these guys that are still standing up here, I'll bring them back in before they get too far away. Like this guy. Horses can't get over just a single wall. I know that for sure. They were just able to climb on that, and even though there was a gap there, they can walk over that. Because horses are actually 2 blocks wide, and so they can, of course, do what you just saw, which was get on top of the trough, and even though there was a gap that, like me as a player, would fall through, the horse can get over that because they're 2 blocks wide and I believe 2 blocks long, and so they can kind of do some funny stuff like that. Sir. Are we gonna have to move this over? I think so. Let me pull that out and get this all cleaned up, and then we'll get this removed from being a water block. This is really just genuine Minecraft right here. We're figuring out the process all together. I don't want the horses escaping, and I want them climbing on it as little as possible, because horses don't really climb a whole lot in real life, and so I want to maintain as much realism as I can, carried over into Minecraft, having this a space where it would make sense. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get some hay bales piled up for these guys. I don't think we're actually going to go that tall. That may have been a bit extreme. Although there are a lot of horses. We'll leave it and see how we feel. If you guys have any feelings about it or any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. There aren't a lot of you currently, so I do in fact read all of the comments. Your voice will be heard. We have climby horses again. I know they're going to climb on the hay bales. That's pretty much unavoidable. I think we'll leave it at that. I think that looks okay for right now. We may come up and tweak it a little bit later. But with that, that's another pen mostly done. I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys brought back. So one of the keys that you have to do if you are going to have a pen with horses that you want to actually be able to access them from, you will have to have 2 fence gates because they cannot fit through just one fence gate. If all you're doing is keeping like sheep and cows in there, then you can get away with only doing 1 fence gate because they are only 1 block wide. And this horse is trying to get out, and I'm trying to see where everybody is leaded up to. Alrighty, come on in. Don't be shy. There's so many horses and so many colliding hitboxes. Okay. Neat. Okay. So we'll let those guys hang out. Some of them will be moved into this pen once I get that done. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and move these fence gates more down here so that they are a little closer to where the other fence gates are for all the other horses. So, coming on in. This pen is a little bit oddly shaped because it's real long and skinny. So I think what we might actually do is build a couple little awnings. And so maybe do one, whoops, on this side that goes to about here. This one is also kind of funny shaped because it follows the curve of the farmlands. So I think that we'll get this supported as best as we can, and then I think I'll throw another support somewhere in the middle wherever it kind of lines up with the blocks. Okay, so with that, this pen is mostly done. We just need to get our little water trough, which I think in this one, going to, since we have horses, I don't really want them climbing from one pen to another, or really climbing out of here. So I'm trying to decide what would be the best place to put this in, where they wouldn't be able to climb very many places. I think we're gonna try here. Oops. See how that works. We'll refill, and then we'll get to our bed and sleep because this area is not spawn proofed. So if we don't sleep, then we will be overrun with mobs. Even more so than we probably normally would, because so much of the area around us is spawn proofed, and in so many of the caves and things that are below the castle, I've spent so much time spawn proofing all of them, so we would have a big problem on our hands if we just left this. For anybody that's watching that plays on this realm, or has caught a glimpse of it at night, you know that it gets a lot of mobs. If we made a mob farm, it would probably be pretty efficient, but we have those elsewhere in the world, so I don't really need one here. But at this point, gosh, all these guys are crowding around the door, and I'm afraid that we're gonna get a lot of them that run loose if we do this. So I think I'm just gonna start by grabbing about 4 of them, maybe a 5th one, if I can get it without too many running away. Okay. That was mostly successful. Sweet. So we'll go ahead and bring these guys in here so they can find the gate. Perfect. And get all the leads off. Oops. Gotta find all the ones that have the leads. Cool. And I don't really want to lose my leads because I actually crafted these. Which if you don't know the recipe for crafting leads, it's just 3 string and a slime ball, which you get from the slimes. But you can also get leads from the Wandering Trader if you choose to either figure out a way to separate him from his llamas, or if you just kill them, you can get a couple leads every time. However, the Wandering Trader doesn't really visit my castle very often. And granted, the last several weeks I haven't really spent a whole lot of time online. And so for other people that have spent more recent time online, he definitely would favor going to them over coming to my base. So these guys we're going to bring over to the other pens, past all these guys, and hopefully they don't really cause a whole lot of trouble here in the marketplace as we come through. This is basically what we're going to do for today. Accomplished quite a bit of just some stuff that needed to be done. We've gotten a lot more animals. It looks a lot more lively out here. As for the rest of the cows, I don't think that they'll be being moved over, just because this pen isn't very big and I don't really need a whole lot of leather, so I'm not really farming them for leather or anything like that at this point in time. And so those guys, I'll see if anybody else on the server needs cows. If not, then I may just get rid of them. Oh, I think my scaffolding also came out here. Yep. So, but I want to thank you all for watching. That brings us to the end of this video. I'll hope to see you in the next time. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video if you did like it, leave a comment if you want to just say hi or if you have a question, and I'll totally get back to you on that. But I'll see you guys in the next video.